So let's talk about and discuss and break down the relationship of Lana Del Rey and her new husband, Jeremy, and how she's become this housewife, 50s, more conservative, more traditional, low key kind of woman. And to be honest, I am so here for it. And their relationship that has gone viral within the past couple months since she did recently get married to him, it holds such a special place in my heart, honestly. And reason one being that I have loved Lana Del Rey. I have been a fan of hers literally since the beginning, literally since the start of her music career. I have been a fan of her. I've seen her in concert. Like, I've been a fan since the beginning of her music. And the second reason why it holds such a close place in my heart is because you guys, I mean, this is just so mind-blowing to me. She literally married a guy that is in my home state, okay? She is literally married to a man here in the South, and literally this woman lives about an hour away from me, okay? And that is just so mind-blowing to me, considering who she is and, where she comes from and her, famous, the name that she's made for herself and her career, and being so heavily in the music industry and just the fame that she has created for herself. So it really is truly mind-blowing to me that her whole life could make such a drastic turn, as in marrying a man, like a true Southern guy here in my home state, and knowing that she lives her simple, traditional, conservative life with him and his family, and now she has a big family. It just makes my heart flutter, you know what I mean? So, yeah, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this relationship and kind of discuss some of the masculine and feminine aspects of it. So, here on this channel, we obviously encourage traditional lives and traditional household, masculine and feminine roles, the proper roles for men and women. And of course, I'm all about that a more conservative, quiet lifestyle, right? And the fact that she just completely pivoted to living this kind of more low-key life, from her just having such a big name for herself, and choosing a man that did live a more low-key life and just obviously has very grounded morals and traditional values, and obviously prioritizes his family. So this really just proves a lot of points that I often discuss. One being let's just first start with the physical appearance of them, right? The aesthetic, the visuals of them, right? She is obviously very, very feminine looking. She dresses very feminine. She is absolutely stunningly gorgeous, okay? I've always believed that she was just so beautiful. She has this beautiful classic old Hollywood look. She's so stunningly beautiful. She dresses so femininely, right? And I will say she actually did not always dress that well. She has definitely elevated herself a lot within the past couple years, because I remember a little era of her where she was dressing absolutely terribly and she had gained a lot of weight. She was looking really unhealthy. She was not looking, she wasn't in her best shape. Energetically, she was just kind of at in a low energetic state, and you could just really see it because she was just really carrying it with all that extra weight she had, but nonetheless, for majority of her career time in the spotlight, she has always dressed very femininely, and she loves her dresses. She has a very specific aesthetic, right? So visually speaking, she is this beautiful, gorgeous, very feminine appearing woman. And then she marries this very kind of scruffy, looking a little bit more rough around the edges, very bearded, masculine featured man, right? And we love to see this. Like, I just absolutely love the polarity of that. I think it's just so hot to see, you know, this more scruffy, masculine featured guy that looks like he's, you know, he needs a little bit of grooming, and more tough and rough around the edges. And then the polar, her being like this gorgeous, primped, beautiful arm candy, right? I love the polarity of it. And I love it so much because like that masculine appearance of that masculine, you know, bone structure, and the scruffiness, and just looks like a very like hard worker, like a physical laborer worker, you know what I mean? I just love it. It's so attractive because it just, like, he just has the appearance of a very hard working guy. He looks like a guy that does a lot of hard physical labor work. But I mean, I'm from here in Louisiana, in the South. And so it's not really nothing. It's not really abnormal for me to see, but I could see how people who are not from here don't really understand that look. But he definitely wears the whole Louisiana Southern boy look. Like he wears it, okay? He wears that camouflage. He wears that that swamp guy, you know, very masculine, scruffy kind of look. And I just think overall visually it is so attractive to see them two together because of how polar their looks are. Okay, and then also, like, can we even talk about the fact that, and this actually is very significant in masculine and feminine qualities, talking about the fact that Lana Del Rey, her voice, and I'm not talking about her singing voice, which of course is incredible and amazing and the best thing ever, right? I'm such a fan. But her speaking voice, oh my God. I have always thought that her speaking voice was just so calming, so soothing, and so feminine. Like, her speaking voice is just so soothing to anyone's ears. It's just like a voice that you could listen to all day long. And of course, when she opens her mouth to sing, that's even better, right? But just her speaking voice alone is just so soft and delicate. Okay, so then we can move into how they met and like how they connected, right? And kind of talk about, like, kind of dissect that masculine and feminine energies in that. And obviously this is mostly just from hearing information, researching, and analyzing, and not having personal insight into it, but just basically from what is out there. So just analyzing through what, like, information is given to us. So yeah, just, I mean, obviously I don't really know the whole ins and outs and every detail of their relationship or whatnot, but just from basing it off of what has been said out in the public. So basically, as the story goes, as her husband explains it, coming from a fan who heard or who asked about the story, was that Lana had done a swamp tour a couple years back when she had come to Louisiana. She had did a swamp tour, and Jeremy, as in her now husband, was her tour guide. And I guess she had a really great time, And I guess maybe they had great conversation and they connected. And apparently she had stayed in contact with him even after the tour was over. Now, it is a mystery to us if they knew each other. Not knew each other. If he knew who she was prior to her, like, going on the tour or even being told. That is such a mystery, and I would actually be so curious to, like, ask him that if he knew who she was when he met her, or he had any interest in her music. Because, you know, like, these southern older gentlemen, like, the chances are they're not listening to Lana Del Rey's music, okay, or just anything in really, like, pop culture. Not that she's a part of that, but you know what I mean. Like, this is her targeted audience is for ladies, right? So it would be such a mystery to discover if he knew, like, who she was, or knew anything of her music, or recognized her, or whatever. And, like, the whole story of, like, how he figured out who she was. But I wanted to mention this story because apparently after they connected or whatever from that tour, they stayed in contact. He was in a relationship, but she reached out to him sometime after, apparently to see about filming a video where, I guess at his work, or like at his home, or somewhere here in Louisiana, right? And what's so interesting about this, you know, just from my own knowledge and just how I would assume things would go, and, like, just knowing, you know, how Lana Del Rey carries herself and how, like, elegant and feminine that she truly is, I think it's so interesting to talk about this for a little minute here. Because okay, I never, ever, ever believe in a woman pursuing a man, right? Ever believe in a woman pursuing a man for a relationship, or pursuing him and chasing him down and, like, trying to get him in a relationship with her, or, like, taking him out on a date or anything like that, right? Never, ever believe in that. But often what I talk about a lot on here to you ladies and teach you ladies is how you can intelligently signal to guys and kind of give these hints and subtle signs to these guys that you have interest in them, right? So what we can learn and just assume about their relationship was that, okay, I don't blame this guy at all in any way if he did not pursue her, or reach out to her, or try to contact her and take her out on a date in a romantic way, if he was interested in her, whatever, because just simply off the fact that their lives are so different from one another, right? Like, this is a southern Louisiana guy giving alligator tours, and this is a mega pop star who is known worldwide. Everybody has her songs on their cell phones, and, like, everybody knows her name, and she's mega famous, and doing all of these, like, tours around the world, just living this pop star unimaginable lifestyle. And he's just this average, conservative, family oriented guy, right? So what I'm saying is that I cannot blame this man at all in any way if he did not try to pursue her romantically, or initiate romantic interest, or initiate kind of staying in touch with her, in contact with her, in order to kind of pursue her more intentionally and more romantically, you know? Like, I cannot blame this average conservative Louisiana guy in any way if that was so far-fetched from his mind. You know what I mean? Because probably in his mind, probably that didn't even cross his mind, right? Because why on earth would he try to pursue this woman who lives this kind of extravagant, out of the average lifestyle, has mega millions, just so much fame and notoriety, when he is just this simple living guy, right? You know, I say that because we often talk about how men need to pursue and men need to initiate, and you need to know if a man is interested in you. But Lana Del Rey, assuming here, was very intelligent in this situation, in that she simply made herself known to him. She showed herself. She gave subtle hints and signs that she wanted to stay in contact with him, because maybe she had some interest in him and his life. And she did it so intelligently by apparently asking him if she could film a video for film a video in his hometown or wherever it was, that was here in Louisiana, right? And just by her making that simple move, she was able to create a situation where she could show herself as available to him and put herself in the situation where he was able to see that she was available and ready to be romantically pursued, or ready to create a potential romantic situation and potential romantic relationship to him, right? She created a scenario where she could present herself where he could then move in closer towards her, and she showed interest back, that she wanted to keep the connection between them ongoing, right? Because who knows, like, maybe in her mind she also understood that, like, this guy, why would he ever want to pursue me? Like, I'm, Lana Del Rey. I'm a mega pop star. My best friend is Taylor Swift, right? Like, just something so unimaginable, and something that you would never assume would ever come together and collide. And then it did, right? So I think that the way that she went about it was very intelligent, because she did not pursue him. She did not ask him out on a date and take him out and pay for him and whatever, right? I don't know all the details. But what I'm saying is, the way that they reconnected and rekindled their connection from the first time that they met, she obviously did not reach out to him and say, hey, I really like you, like, I want to take you out. That would be a very, very inappropriate masculine approach to the situation. But instead, what she did was create a situation where she was like, yeah, I want this man to know that I'm available, and I'm going to ask him if I can use maybe a connection that he has, or a property that he has, so that I can film a video and do what I do, doing my own thing, right? Just showing up, living my life, doing what I do, being a mega pop star, right? And let's just see what comes about it, right? I want this man to know that I'm available for him. Like, this is so crazy to me, but I imagine that this is how it went. So she did that, okay? And we don't really get much detail after that, but apparently from that point on, from filming her video on his property, or somewhere nearby, where she could stay connected and be shown around Louisiana, somehow from that they began dating, fell in love, and literally got married so quickly, right? Now this woman is in her full wifey era, and we are so here for it. I mean, just the way you can just see it, like the way that she carries herself, how she is dressing now, okay? How she is speaking, her energy that she is radiating. Like, she looks like she is so fulfilled and at peace and living a more soft and conservative life and being a wife, right? Next to a provider, hardworking, masculine man, right? I mean, this woman, Lana Del Rey, is clearly very, very proud to have a husband. She's obviously very, very happy to bring him with her to all her events and her shows. And obviously very, very proud to post him on her social media and just be very, very public with her relationship. And I think that this speaks volumes, right? Not only does it show just how happy and fulfilled that she is being married and living a more softer, more conservative life, and obviously a very different life than what she was so immersed in, and obviously not, living so much so in the spotlight and keeping things a lot more private. I mean, even though she is very much out there, like publicly with her relationship, she's not afraid to bring him around and she posts him on her social media. However, ladies, let's acknowledge the fact that this woman, I have always respected her because she has always stayed pretty much to herself and like very private, which we love, right? But the whole fact that she stayed so private about her relationship until this man was literally her husband, like, I hope it teaches you some things. Because I am always saying this, and I will keep saying this. You never post a man on social media that is not your husband. Do not go boasting about your current boyfriend or some guy that you're dating unless he is your husband, okay? Trust me, it's so much classier to keep those private things private, keep those special things special. And you don't even have to ever post, even if he is your husband, right? But it's so much more validating, and it becomes more solidified, when you actually are married, you actually have a husband, like a lifelong spouse to boast about, right? Not some boyfriend that you've been out on a couple dates with and now suddenly all your peers and family and friends know about this guy, right? That could literally leave in 2 or 3 weeks, or something happens and you don't work out, right? Believe me, it's just so much wiser to do that. And I know, Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco, they're all out there, boyfriend and girlfriend, posting pictures of themselves in bed together, marketing it, really, because they capitalize off of their relationship, and it's obviously working, right? But that's what it's all built around, is to capitalize off of their boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, okay? But those couples that leave their married life private and only go public with their actual committed lifelong spouses, they just hold such a higher value. So anyways, back to Lana Del Rey and her husband. She clearly traded the hustle bustle, mega pop star, fast-paced lifestyle for a more slower living, traditional, conservative, family kind of lifestyle. And I think it's just fascinating. It really truly is so fascinating. You don't see many people of Hollywood and people of the music industry doing this kind of thing. You don't see them really transitioning back to their more of their roots and opting for a more softer life. Like, you see them often just get sucked into, the Hollywood and pop culture and music industry instead, and kind of just like getting consumed by all the fame and fortune. And the fact that she took a whole different path is just it's so inspiring, it's so admirable, and I just love to see her doing what she's doing, and like literally honestly not caring at all about the public's opinions and about what anyone says about her husband and how he is a more conservative guy. And also, can we talk about the fact that he has 4 kids, like 4 children, and none of them are hers. And so now she is with this man that has all these kids and lives a very basic, average Louisiana lifestyle. It's mind-blowing to me. But I wanted to cover the topic of their relationship because it's just fascinating, and it also really paints a very valid picture of what I often discuss on here between masculine and feminine, and women just simply wanting a more traditional masculine man, a provider and protector kind of guy, and a guy that wears his provider and protector. You can see these guys, you can look at these types of guys and see that they are not all about their looks. Like, they don't care if they look rough around the edges, they don't care if they look scruffy, because they are out working hard to provide and protect for their families. They're not these cookie cutter pop star types that are decked out in designer and Gucci watches and driving all these flashy cars, right? She wanted herself a real man who could provide and protect, and who worked really hard, and who loved his family, and that's exactly what she got, okay? And yes, I am a little bit biased because I am here in Louisiana, and it is still so mind-blowing that this is where she lives with her husband, okay? But anyways, I think that was all that I wanted to discuss on this video for now. If you have any comments about Lana Del Rey and her husband Jeremy's relationship, definitely let me know your input. Let me know your thoughts. Tell me what you think of their dynamic and their appearance. I think it's so attractive. It's so I just love the scruffy mixed with the beautiful feminine, just over the top, aesthetically attractive, and this more scruffy, like hardworking Southern Louisiana guy, right? So let me know what your thoughts are, and if you want to add to it. And if you guys have any questions or video recommendations, or you need further insight on your dating and relationship life, send me an email. All of that will be listed down in the description box below. Until the next video, I'll talk to you guys soon. Love you.